it's always a special time to bring in a new member to acknowledge the commitment that someone is making in their life. Because I know for me, when I first joined Unity, I joined at Unity of St. Petersburg. This was way long ago. Over 40 years ago, Les Saunders was still there. And I was at the church and fairly active for 2, 3, maybe 4 years before I became a member. Because becoming a member is a commitment. It's a commitment to the church. It's a commitment to your spiritual path. So my lesson today is called The Journey Home. The journey home, because that's what our spiritual path is. Our spiritual path is the journey home. Home to the truth of our being. And when we decide that we want to become a part of a church, any spiritual path, if we decide to commit to that teaching, we are committing to the truth of our being. We are committing to revealing to ourselves a greater understanding of who we are, of what we are, and of how we are. And as we reveal that greater understanding to ourselves, we can take that understanding out into the world so that we may be the blessing that Spirit intends us to be. Because we are all individual blessings from God. Each and every one of us is unique, has our own talents, has our own gifts, has our own understanding, has our own way of doing things. Because we have the unique perspective of the world. And as we are joined together in the one truth that there is only one presence and power in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotence. As we begin to understand that in greater and greater degrees, as we begin to live that and bring that out into the world changes. The world becomes a better place. This comes from the deep desire to return to the truth of your being, to your God essence. It is the journey home. In Unity, we teach this oneness. We teach this oneness of one presence and one power. Our soul's journey home is the journey back to conscious oneness with Spirit. Our journey home is the journey to a realization of that truth in our lives and how we live our lives. The realization of our awakening to that oneness comes only through your greater understanding of your relationship with Spirit. There we go. Now, for your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, your spiritual trip, we have a GPS for you. Unity offers a special GPS for you, a unique GPS for you. And it's because of that uniqueness that we have chosen Unity as our route to awakening. And Jesus the Christ lays out for us the interstate that takes us directly to it in that phrase I quote a lot, but it's the best one in the Bible, I think. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. That's your GPS. That is your interstate on your map to your spiritual home, to your spiritual growth, to where you want to be. Now, when we look at a map, if we all remember what maps look like, there's all the little roads along the way, the roads through the countryside. And those are gorgeous roads. They're much prettier and more adventuresome than the interstate. And you get to choose which roads you take. You can choose the interstate. You can choose the fast road. You can go be a monk. You can go to a monastery. You can go to an ashram. You can do whatever it is you want just to stay on that fast road. Most of us choose the side roads. The side roads of life that also bring us to where we're going. There's the side roads of life that bring us the experiences, the beauty, the individuals, everything we need to get where we're going. As long as we have our GPS, let's say, focused on north, and we can go east, we can go west, but we always hit those intersections and we move north a little bit. We move north a little bit. We're continually moving towards spirit. As we intentionally move in that direction. And all of you here have set that intent to move in that direction. And unity is your roadmap. The unity teachings of Jesus Christ. The interpretations by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and the rest of the other unity teachers have spoken to something in your heart, spoken to your soul. How many of you here came into a unity church for the first time? Heard what whoever the speaker was, heard what they had to say, and went, goodness, this is what I think. I have never told anybody. Anybody had that experience? Yeah. If I had told anybody what I thought, they would think I was crazy. They didn't think I was too sane in the first place. But I was literally gobsmacked when I heard Les Saunders up there speaking of a unified oneness, saying that we are all good by nature. That's when you know you're on your way home. When you say, I can do this, it gives you the courage. It gives you the backing when you know there are teachings out there for you. For you. It's like they were written exactly for you, are they not? That's the special thing about finding your path. Now, in our journey home, y'all may have witnessed that you live life, you're living two lives at once. You're living life as two different ways. You're living life two different ways. You're living from the outside in, from the inside out. We're living from the outside in and from the inside out. Worldly events affect us from the outside in. We're affected by our surroundings, and we take in the feelings, emotions, and perceptions and beliefs about it down into our perceptions of ourselves and who we are and how we relate to the world. And at the same time, we are living life as a spiritual being while that's going on. As we're living life as a spiritual being, we are doing the best we can in knowing and living the truth that we know and being that truth. So we're taking all of this in, especially at like now. It seems like every week there's another and again, and now we have a new thing. We have this conflict in Ukraine. That brings up something within all of us. It brings up sorrow. It brings up anger. It brings up fear. It brings up many emotions. And that's from the outside in. From the inside out, it brings up prayer. It brings up knowing the truth. It brings up being the presence of Spirit right here, knowing that truth and being a part of the answer. I heard this week, all we can do is pray. I heard that more than once. Folks, that is more than a little thing. It is not all we can do is pray. Praying is the most powerful thing we can, as individuals, do to influence what happens in the world. To know the truth within ourselves. To know that same truth lives within those in the Ukraine who are resisting this occupation. The same truth lives within the Russian soldiers who are there doing it. The same truth lives within all of the leaders, within every individual in that conflict. And we are linked together by the one truth of the divine idea of humanity. And as we pray and know this truth for ourselves, we are making a difference. A difference towards peace. A difference towards wholeness. A difference towards the unification, the realization of the one presence, the one power, God, the good. As we set aside our fears, our beliefs in lack, and anything that brings us outside of the truth, outside of the one presence and one power, as we set those aside and rest in knowing, we are strengthened. We are emboldened and brought to the peace that only happens when you're centered in God. That is the peace that passes understanding. Because I can sit in prayer and meditation, and in the midst of everything that's going on in the world and everything that's going on in my life, I can know peace. Y'all do the same thing. Y'all know peace in spite of everything that's going on. And that is being what it is that you are meant to be. Being who it is that you are meant to be. It is being the truth, living the truth. And that's what we in Unity are all about. From that center, you can, if only for a moment, know that truth. Have that truth set you free and empower you to bring that truth out into the world as a being of love, a being of wholeness, a being of peace and wisdom. It is our job as truth students to hold the light the best we can. You're never asked to do more than that. You hold the light the best you can. And every time you come to this church, whether it's in this building or from your homes, you are doing just that. You are being the spiritual being that you are the best way that you can. And the world becomes a better place because you chose the journey home. God blesses you.